Early Chevy Coupe. Brian Bruckman out of St. Anne, Illinois with the 1979 Malibu. Sam Patrick out of Sandpoint, Michigan. 37 Chevy, 406 against the 468. They both have 10-second dials. And down the track, it's a huge one. The Coupe out in front, headed to the finish line lights. Is he going to be able to hold on? 10:02 to a 10:01. Man, that was close, but it was reaction time. Whole shot for Sam Patrick, 038 with the old school 37 Chevy. Mike Van House out of Ashland, Kentucky. 10-second dial in for him as well. Jonas Safford out of Washington, Indiana. The Vega charges off the line as Chanel pulls the wheels in the air. 10-second heads up for these two cars. The Vega out in front, holding on. Oh, and a breakout for Mike Van House. Goes 996 to a 1021 and drives around to take the lose. Anglia over in the Budweiser. It's easy for you to say. Tim Rise out of Cleves, Ohio, 10-second dial against Steve Farrow, also 10-second. And out of Philpott, Kentucky. Two 10-second heads-up cars. Anglia having trouble staging. Gets him lined up again. Pulls up there. 73 Nova with a 383 small block. 48 Anglia with a Chrysler 340. Mila Osborne and Carl Thiel. Running behind the Anglia. Big hole shot. Headed down to the finish line. Side by next, but the Chevelle, or the Nova, takes the win. 10-11 to a breakout. 995 in the whole shot for Farrow in the Jegs lane. Jim Hayes in the Troy, Ohio base 72 Falcon against Bob Mitchell in the 69 Dart. Going to try and stick it to him, both with 10-second dials. Now, based on their class, the index for their category is 10 seconds. They've matched all the 10-second cars together. Full stage for Jim Hayes in the Vega. Wheels up. Heads down track. Big hole shot as well on this round. And the whole shot pays off. 10:05 to a 10 flat. Mitchell runs right on the dial, but was 0.2 of a second off on the reaction time. Matt Chitwood out of Bloomington, Indiana, against Kenny Robinson out of Greentown, Indiana. Ford against Chevrolet, both with 10 seconds. Another hole shot. And you can see it. When they're both got the same dial and you see them lead, you know something's wrong. 10:15 to a 10:30, and Kenny Robinson taking the win with the Ford. Nova against 55 Chevy next. Greg Brannon out of Lake Mary, Florida, against Tommy Hodge out of Nashville, Tennessee. 55 Chevy gets all out of shape, takes the long way down the track. Reaction advantage not to him. And at the stripe, it's the Nova. Double breakout, but Greg Brannon breaks out by less with the Nova. Goes 998 to a 990. Next pair. Greg Brannon. No, we haven't got them up here yet. Getting the smoke out of the cockpit of the car. Jason Messamore out of Hanson, Kentucky. Dials 10 flat. Don't have a name on the Vega yet. All right, there we go. Brent Cole out of Owensboro. Cole dials a 950. Maximore a 10 flat. You'll see the Camaro leave the line first. Half a second later, the Vega gets the charge and chase. And he's gone. Jason Messamore out in front, stays there to the stripe, Goes 10-13 to a breakout, 947. Brent Cole was late on the tree with a 317 reaction and broke out to make up for it. Candy Pearl Yellow on the Corvette is stunning in the sunlight. Going to take on the Nova. Kyle Renfro out of Home, Michigan, 62 Corvette, last of the solid axle Corvettes, a 402 Chevy engine. Gary Wildy out of Batavia, Illinois, 66 Nova with a 502 big block. 100 cubic inches between the two. The Nova with the bigger engine. The plastic Corvette. Going to try to run him down. 950 heads up index for these cars. RPMs come up. Lights drop. Corvette pulls over. Times nearly identical. I mean, down to the thousandth of a second. They were that close. At the stripe, it is Gary Wildy. 952 to a 957. He had the advantage by 2 thousandths on the reaction time. Bob Perkins out of Milton, Ontario, 67 Coronet RT, KB wedge engine, John Fadrugia. Sponsored 950 and a 950 from Mike Cutler's Dawson, Illinois, 55 Chevy. Mopar against Chevrolet. A friend of mine told me Mopar stands for many old parts are rusted. Reaction time's not even close as they head down track. And the Chevy losing even with the reaction advantage because he breaks out. Goes 946 to a 953 for Perkins. One of my favorite cars of all time, the Henry J over in the Budweiser lane. Rich Gregowski. Comp to the lanes. Comp to the lanes. The little Chevy Chevette. And the Chevette leaves before the tree can get activated. Rich Gregowski going on to the next round. Goes 987 on a 950 index.
Once again, we need Comp Eliminator to the lanes, please. Comp Eliminator. Your round one coming up. We need Comp Eliminator to the staging lanes, please. Comp Eliminator to the lanes.
Two Camaros ready to go. Tyler Allen out of Manchester, Kentucky with the earlier Camaro. Bill States with the second gen. Reaction time's pretty close as they head down track side by next. And it is Tyler Allen with a double breakout. Allen breaks out by less. He goes 946 to a 943. So Stamp's just way too quick. Mustang against Monza. Kurt Neighbor out of Twinsburg, Ohio, 79 Mustang with a 427. Trevor Messamore out of Bowling Green, 75 Monza with a 406. 950 heads up. Mustang moving up. Pre-stage lights, full stage for the Mustang. Monza moving. They're gone. Mustang's got the slight edge. A little bit slower, though, at the 330 mark. Monza pulls up and goes too quick. 946 to a 947. Double breakout. Neighbor breaks out by less. Margin of victory, 12 thousandths of a second. James Hayes out of Troy, Ohio, 58 Corvette. Takes on Sal Petrulis out of Howell, Michigan, 72 Dodge Colt, or better known as a Mitsubishi. Dodge and Plymouth both had versions of the Mitsubishi compact cars back in the day. Dodge called theirs a Colt. Plymouth called theirs the Arrow. Perkins out in front, 950 index. Corvette chasing. Give you an indication on reaction time. 950 on a 950. Sal does it convincingly. James goes 53, but was later on the lights by 0.02 of a second. Jeff Thomas out of Columbia, Kentucky, 950 index for Raymond Gatewood as well out of White House, Tennessee. Malibu against Barracuda. Move over. Plymouths are racing. Another thing for Mopar. Whoa, what happened? Raymond Gatewood just sitting at the line. And luckily, Jeff Thomas doesn't break out. So Ray Gatewood got a reaction time, and then the car lost fire. So Jeff Thomas getting the victory. Sees that the Chevy wasn't moving and backs out for a 984. We have new slow ET of the day at 2867. Camaro against Camaro. First generation Camaro in the right lane, the Jegs lane. Second gen in the Budweiser lane. Rex Stamps and Bill Hensley. Two 950 index cars. Tipton, Indiana is where Rex Stamps comes from. London, Kentucky for Bill Hensley. Is the index. Red line for Bill Hensley. Rex Stamps gets the win.
Coming up next, it's Mark English out of Milton, PA in the MG alongside Gary Harris from Greenbrier, Tennessee. D-Gas Index cars. Both of them trying to run 950. The MG left side, that's the little Roadster left-hand steer machine. You see the cage popped up above what's left of the windshield. Falcon over on the right-hand side with a 434 blue oval. And you can see Mark English being pushed back towards the water box. It'll be a single pass for Gary Harris. Harris will make his way down the quarter mile, use it as a time pass for the next round, and it's a 9:53 at 1:42.
That's one flying Falcon. All right, Chevelle SS 396, 1966 model, getting ready to go. MG has a problem. Uh-oh. That little MG was not track trained, went tinkle on the starting line. We'll get it all cleaned up, get it back. They're pushing back the Chevy. Hopefully not because he's got a problem, but because he shut it off.
Again, we need comp eliminator to the lanes, please. If you're not headed that way, comp eliminator cars, we need you that way so we can get you matched up for your round one of eliminations. Once again, comp eliminator to the lanes.
And we are going to be running all the categories we promised you we were going to run, and we're going to run the jet cars at the end of it all. So the Weenie Roasters coming out, you thought it was hot, now wait till they fire up. Right, with me in the tower, one of the Jet car guys, and we had the Jet World Finals at L.A. County Raceway one year up in Palmdale, California. It was decades ago because, I mean, L.A. County Race has been gone for a long time. You ever get up there for those?
I have not been at the Jet World Finals, and I have not been to L.A. County either. I guess I got two goals now. I got two bucket list items, right?
No, forget about it because the L.A. County Raceway is now a gravel pit. It's gone, but we had 15 to 20 Jet cars show up, and one of the cars, the Simple Pleasure car, with Jerry Siegel, the Hennebeck and Siegel team built the car. Instead of chrome plating everything, it was gold plated.
Oh my!
Well, they were running. It was about fourth round, and Siegel goes through the lights, about 560, over 300 miles an hour. Of course, we didn't say that because the parachute on the car that he was running against took out the mile-per-hour lights when he popped the chute the run before. Well, Gary goes through the light, Siegel goes through the lights, pops the first chute. It goes up in the air and floats gently down to the ground. Pops the second chute. It flies up in the air and comes gently down to the ground. And then we see a dust cloud. And a mile out into the desert, Jerry Siegel finally comes to a stop. The only thing left was the capsule.
Oh my!
Where Siegel was sitting.
Well, we don't have a mile to go here out into the desert. In fact, if they, it's pretty hot outside. If they go off the end here, there's a river right at the base of those trees. If they can make it through the trees, they can go cool off and go swim.
Just like a Breedlove trip.
that would be like a Breedlove trick. Exactly right. Well, we're excited to be here with the Florida Institute of Technology Jet Dragster, Matrix Automotive Refinishes Jet Dragster. Lots of really great stuff happening here tonight. Jet dragsters, they've been around since the 1960s.
Oh, you bet.
Lots of great history with jet dragsters. The engines in both of these cars here tonight, they were introduced, believe it or not, in 1958.
Really?
It's a General Electric J85. It was originally produced as a drone engine, a B-52.
Really?
Would have a little Delta wing drone on the bottom of it, on two of them on the bottom of each wing. And the engines would be started as the bomber was flying into enemy territory. It would fly into enemy territory. The engines were idling on the wing. And as the flight crew began their bomb run, if there was a surface-to-air missile detection, if a surface-to-air missile launch or a missile lock was detected, the flight crew would simply flip a switch. Electrically, the motors would drive the fuel system up to 80% of its rated power, and the engine would still be on the wing. If there was a missile launch at the perfect time, the flight crew would drop the little Delta Wing drones, with each one with a single General Electric J85 in them, and it would fall off the wing, and it was on its own. It wasn't remote controlled. It was flying on its own. The flight crew would then take the B-52, pull it back to flight idle. The surface-to-air missile, that heat-seeking missile, would pick up on one of the Delta Wing drones that was flying off wherever it wanted to go. And then that missile would hopefully go up, hit the little Delta Wing drone, and the B-52 would continue on its bomb run. They had 4 shots for that, 2 under each wing. The Air Force, by the 1960s, realized that it was a very powerful, very compact engine. It's like a small block Chevy of jet engines. That's the little one. The General Electric J85, only 16 inches in diameter, 34 inches long, to this day, no lie, is the highest power-to-weight ratio producing turbojet engine ever made in any country by any manufacturer. They're very popular in jet racing. It is like a small block. It's not those big engines that we were used to in the original jet cars back in the late 50s, early 60s. And so the General Electric J85, very popular now. Popular applications for it still today, believe it or not. A number of Air Forces use the F-5 Freedom Fighter and the T-38 trainer that trains in for that airplane as a primary strike fighter. Larson Motorsports, Elaine Larson's driving that beautiful Florida Institute of Technology car tonight. Elaine owns She just bought 100 more engines. No lie.
100
You got your
more
eyebrows are raised right all up. Even Jeff Conley over there says 100 more engines. My goodness, you guys are going to be around for a while. And she bought a bunch of them. She bought out the entire Italian Air Force spares inventory. It's here in the United States. It's made it here. And man, oh man, I don't. She says, "Where are we going to put all these engines?" I said, "Well, you bought them. You figure it out." But tons of engines coming to Larson Motorsports. She has 7 teams that run right now. That beautiful Matrix Automotive refinishes jet car that Dwayne Hill, United States Marine. Machine gunner, did 2 tours to the Middle East. We said, "Does the pressure of driving a jet car bother you?" He says, "No, pressure? I've been shot at." He says, "That isn't pressure." So, couple really great cars, very well matched cars. The RPMs exactly the same.
Wow.
The weights exactly the same. They will go to the starting line within 3 pounds of each other. The fuel load exactly the same. We're going to come up here. Dwayne's going to be in the right lane. He's going to try and protect you up here in the tower a little bit.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
You're going to be right behind him. You're going to get the best view in the house, right? And so he's going to try and protect you over here. Elaine says the fire's going to blow right past the tower. Turn it up. Turn it up as high as it'll go. So she's going to put on a big old fire show for you. Dwayne will do that smoke and fire show. Burner pops. Break the windows right out of the tower.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know if they will.
I'll put the blinds down.
Put the blinds down. You know what to do. And they're going to run down the quarter mile here. Yeah, I see there's a couple. I ought to take a picture of that. Dallas will be all over me. He broke my window. But they'll run down the quarter mile here. They've already got the fuel system set. We're only, what do you think? How far out? Probably 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and we're going to close the show with 2 jet dragsters. And don't know who's going to win. Elaine, 17-year veteran.
Wow.
Dwayne, 2nd year driving a jet. Can Elaine take down the Marine, the United States Marine machine gunner? Or is the United States Marine machine gunner going to put Elaine back in the kitchen where she belongs? We'll see what happens there.
So where are you working next week?
I don't know where I'm working next week. I'm probably sleeping on the couch tonight. But so great jet car action coming up here just shortly for you. And man, the jet cars have such a rich history.
Yes, they do.
With events like this. And I got to see, you know who's here?
No.
George, the Bushmaster Schreiber. He's out there with Garlits. I stopped him. 81 years old. Drove the Starjet jet dragster. Still in his museum in St. Louis. He fires it up. It's on stands, bolted to the floor. He fires the thing up right in his museum in St. Louis. And it's only a couple miles off the highway. If you're ever going through there, go to George Schreiber's museum. But he's out here roaming around. Now, the Bushmaster car in the 90s had the exact same engine that both jet dragsters have here tonight.
Wow.
Here tonight. So very, very good engine, very popular. And it's really a great engine for the jet cars because the power-to-weight ratio is just so high.
I can imagine. Now, since this is nostalgia racing and the only dragsters we run are front-motored, I've always thought we need to run a front-motored jet car.
There's one.
There is one. There is one.
You know who has it? Tim Arfons.
Yep. And I didn't know this. I used to make the joke I want a front-motored jet car. And Bruce Dida, who builds a lot of cars and stuff, sent me a picture. It used the helicopter jet motor and has shaft drive.
Shaft drive, 9-inch forward back. It's a T58 Allison motor. And it's a helicopter motor. They run the exhaust kind of on about a 45-degree angle. It blows right up over Tim Arfons' head. And you know that name, especially in the history of jet racing, Arfons. Art Arfons. We lost Art a few years back, but Tim is still hard at it. Building race cars, building track dryers, anything with a jet. He has a jet-powered bar stool. The guy's got he probably gets to work with something with a jet engine in it. But man, oh man, and that's so great family, great history. I've been in the Arfons shop. If you're in Akron, Ohio, on Pickle Road. You go to Pickle Road. The Green Monster sign is right out front. You can still stop at the Arfons shop. Tim Arfons works there every day. All the stuff is there. He'd love to show you around. And even one of the most popular pieces for people to see when they stop by the Arfons shop is the Thing Maker. Have you ever
No.
heard of the Thing Maker? Back in the day, not a lot of belt sanders, not a lot of cutting wheels, all the stuff that they used to build these jet cars. They had to make their own tooling, and they were a little short on space. A single electric motor driving belt sanders, band saws, bench grinders, the whole thing. Depends on which side of the Thing Maker that you stood on, where you went to get your tools. And
I got to see. I've always been enamored with the Art Arfons cars. The Green Monster, I finally got to see. Whoever owns it right now brought it out to the Lions reunion at the that we had last year out in California. The guy has recreated the Lions drag strip inside his warehouse and brought out the Green Monster and fired it up. Now the NHRA Motorsports Museum has Art's Bonneville car, and it is on display at the NHRA Motorsports Museum in Pomona, California. If you want to see that car, go there. But those cars, they were innovators.
Absolutely.
We don't need American V8s. We got something. And they were cheaper than an American V8 back in the time.
Absolutely. There was such a surplus of jet engines. And back in the day, you could get them out of the boneyards. They call them, like Davis Mountain and some of the others. So these jet engines were readily available. And, these guys, you're exactly right. The word innovator is an understatement. They paved the way for all of us to follow. Land speed cars, drag cars, the Arfons family, and the two brothers.
Yes.
That got along in the beginning, not so much about halfway through. The two brothers, Art and Walt Arfons.
Yep.
They had shops literally on Pickle Road, two buildings side by side, separated by an alleyway, and a garage door facing each shop in the alleyway. And when the family feud really got going is when they started aiming the cars to test them at the other guy's garage door. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm telling you, you got to stop at Pickle Road. I'm telling you. And they went right at it. And so both of those guys gone now, but Tim Arfon still carries on that family legacy, and they were huge mentors for all of us that are jet racing today. They showed us all the mistakes that they made, how to do this a little bit safer. It's still kind of dangerous. It's a very interesting car because it's not a wheel-driven car.
No.
Car pushes along. It's thrust-powered. It blows itself down the drag strip. It's very interesting because every other car here on the property does a burnout to get those tires hot and sticky. We roll through the water. You're going to see the crews wiping the tires down, taking brake clean. You're going to see an aerosol can. They're spraying some sort of aerosol on that tire. They're going to spray that aerosol on the tires. It's just brake clean. And what they're doing, we've already prepped the tires all day today. They've been prepped with the exact same VHT that you're putting on the racing surface here today. Like surfaces, they wear against each other. They get the best bite. So we reactivate that VHT that the tires have been wiped with all day long with brake clean them off perfect. Can't do that burnout. Then they come out, do the stage the cars, and we like to get off that tree as fast as we possibly can, just like these guys that are coming up to the water box right now. We're going to let you go. I'm going to go back, make sure the crews are ready with those jet cars, but we're coming up in just 30 or 40 minutes. Hang out.
Good.
And we'll make it a little bit warmer for you, like we all want that, right?
There we go. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to these guys coming up. Right now, we go back into elimination for these guys. Mike Ryan out of Cottage Hills, Illinois, 66 Chevelle dials 9 flat. Tim Irwin out of Portland, Indiana, also a 9 flat. This is an elimination round. All right, 9 flat dial in for both these cars. This is an elimination round. Using up some real estate as Mike Ryan gets a little crossed up. He's got the better reaction time. Will that be enough to solidify the win? Yes, it is. 902 to a 905. And he gets it. 1958 Ford over in the left lane. This is Keith Fulp. This is his 45th year of racing this car. It's got a... He bought the car in high school in 1973. It's had 39 different tracks, 19 different states, and it's a 9-second car. He's going down with John Guy. They're trying to get to the light. Will he go for another round of racing? Yeah, 902 to a 9 flat on a hole shot victory. He had an 052 light to a 110. He goes 902 against a 9 flat and gets the win. Billy Stockel out of Villa Ridge, Missouri, 70 Challenger. 9-second dial-in for both of these cars, and Dan Mullen out of Reddick, Illinois in the 69 Camaro. On the way down track, Camaro's got a slight edge at the 330. At the stripe, oh, the win goes to Billy. 9 on the nose to a 910, 149 miles an hour for both cars. Buddy Ray out of Martinsville, Indiana. Stuart Forty out of Orlinda, Tennessee. Another 9 flat heads-up run. These are C gas cars.
Attention racers, comp eliminator. You should be in the lanes. Comp eliminator to the lanes.
Headed down track. Big lead for Stewart. And he holds on to it. He goes 907 to an off-pace 941 for Buddy Ray. Corvette here in the Jegs lane. Way out there, down the track on his burnout is Jack Small out of Queensboro, Kentucky, also in a Corvette. So you got a 1961 Corvette, next to last solid axle car, up against the 65 Corvette, the third in the series of Stingrays. Now the back ends look similar, but that's about it. There's no trunk on a 63 to 60. Well, up until the 80s, there was no trunk in the Corvettes again. Independent rear suspension starting in 1963. Red light. Jack Small doesn't wait for the tree. Left before the tree can get activated. John Tresh gets the win. Vega over in the Budweiser lane is Jim Goldie out of Paulding, Ohio. 77 Vega. Ted Wood out of Mooresville, Mississippi. 68 Barracuda Notchback. Pre-stage lights lit. Hint, hint. There we go. Full stage quickly for the Barracuda. Then the Vega rolls in and they're gone. Reaction advantage, a huge one. Is the horsepower the difference going to make that up? Coming up on the finish line, lights. It is 936 to a 961. Wood doesn't run the number, and Jim gets a gimme after a 2/10 reaction time versus an 027. Charles Butler out of Batavia, Ohio, with the Camaro takes on Rich Kent out of Aurora, Illinois, with the Pinto. Now that wing on the back not only keeps that car stable at speed, but it's a great upholder back to the pits. Headed down track, Pinto pulls the wheels up in the air, has the better reaction time. Is it going to be enough? It is. 905 to a 903. Margin of victory, 72 thousandths of a second. 55 Chevy against the Bullet Green Mustang. Sean Grant out of Owensboro, Kentucky. 67 Mustang with the 427. Ronnie Egner out of Mayfield, Kentucky. 9 flat is the index for this category. It's C-Gas. 555 cubic inches worth of Chevy engine against 427 inches worth of Mustang. Full stage, both cars. Line stop, wheels go down track. Not a big difference in reaction times, but enough that it's going to be a difference at the stripe. And the win goes to Ronnie Egner with a 920 to a 957. Grant doesn't run the number. Amber Phillips out of Owensboro, Kentucky, the 30-year-old kid's pastor in the 67 Camaro. Taking on Rob Davis in the 67 Nova. Now we got a B-Gas Nova and a C-Gas Camaro. Camaro dials 9. The B-Gas Chevy Nova goes 850. So you're going to see the Camaro leave the line first. The Nova will try to chase them down. Camaro cuts the light and is out in front. Both have 1.260 foot marks, but a breakout for Rob Davis, an 847 to a 901 on a 9 flat. Studebaker up over in the left lane is Beauteous. Butch Hill, the Hemiroid, world's quickest all-steel 1953 Studebaker. The history of the Hill Boys starts, the 53 Studebaker started in 1961 when they first bought the car. Don Hill bought the Studebaker as a parts car for a street hot rod. Modified lanes 3 and 4. We need modified lanes 3 and 4. David Mullen out of Lamont, Illinois. Both of these cars are B-gassers with an 850 dial in. Studebaker, like I said, been in the family since 1961. Don bought the car, then sold the car to his brother, Jack, for $25 during a family picnic. Jack added a Hemi and a torque flight. Then did some custom chassis work and headers and an Olds rear end, ladder bars, and a cage. This car kept getting modified. Mike Hill got the car on his 16th birthday. Butch is driving the car right now. Mike Hill lost his battle with cancer in 2009, and Butch keeps the family legacy alive. Both before the trees could get activated. Henry J. over in the left lane. Taking on the Corvette here in the Jegs lane. '63 Corvette split window against the Henry J. Henry J had 3 options when they were new. The standard engine was a 4-cylinder. Didn't come with a glove box.